I really wanted to get a scholarship to a D1 school in Florida. And so I set my mind to that, and I focused on my nutrition, I focused on working harder in practice, and I just did everything in my power to get better in track. When I got to exactly the point that I wanted, that I worked so hard to get to, it scared me because I realized that I didn't want it anymore, and maybe everything that I wished for wasn't exactly what I needed. I guess it did start off senior year, but I was kind of in denial about a lot of things. My family life was kind of falling apart, and that's kind of when it started. And I was in a toxic relationship, which did not help. And then when I got to college, it was like I was living in a whole different world. And I felt really lonely and outcasted, and cutting calories turned into extreme restricting, and not allowing myself to eat certain foods. And I would literally try to cut out like whole meals at a time. I would skip breakfast and skip lunch and then go to practice, and if I could, I'd replace dinner with a 5-mile run, and I'd just do everything in my power to eat as minimal calories as I could. And then I guess my body would get so hungry that I'd start binging, and I'd eat everything in sight, no matter if I wanted it, no matter if it tasted good. I ate things that were expired just because they were in front of me, and my body was just telling me that I needed that food, and it was like I was possessed or intoxicated or something. It was like a out-of-body experience, like I couldn't control myself. And then afterward, when I finally woke up, I'd be like, oh my God, what did I just do? And then I would hate myself for it, and I would repeat the whole cycle. And even though I was losing weight, with every pound I lost, I still hated myself even more. And I would always just pay attention, like every time I went in the mirror or in the bathroom, I would look in the mirror and I'd look at myself, and I'd just stand there looking at myself. And it eventually got to a point where I postponed taking showers because I hated the way that I looked. And I just hated my body, like my naked body being exposed to those mirrors. And I would shut off all the lights, and I'd close my eyes, and I'd just rush in and rush out, and I still had like soap in my hair, but I just couldn't stand how my body looked. I hated myself so much because I was constantly surrounded by beautiful people and that had beautiful bodies, and we'd go to track meets and we'd literally undress, like we'd wear close to nothing. And so that was really hard for me because I'd look around and see all these other girls who just had everything I wanted in their bodies. And if I did poorly, I would contribute that to because I'm fat. And I really wasn't fat. Like I'll look at pictures now and I'll be like, what was I thinking? Like I was not fat at all. I can't believe that my illness had the power to control and distort how I saw myself. But I do remember like what my life was like before. I do remember not caring at all about what my body looked like, and that's in the end why I wanted to get help, because I remembered how carefree my life was before, and I wanted to get back to that. I was at practice at my school, and I was having a mental breakdown in the middle of a workout. I wasn't performing as well as I should have been, or I thought I should have been. And I started to count off all the reasons why I wasn't performing well. Like, a lot of it was that I was too fat to be a runner. And then I started thinking, like, I'm not fat. Why am I thinking that I'm fat? And then like, I was sort of aware that I had a problem. I didn't think it was an eating disorder because I didn't follow the normal like rules of an eating disorder. I didn't throw up, and I wasn't always restricting. I mean, I was eating, so I didn't think I had one, but I just knew that, like, there was something wrong and I couldn't keep living like this. And so in the middle of the workout, I had to stop, and my coach came over and talked to me a little bit, and I went back to my dorm and I just started crying. And I called my mom, and I just, like, had a mental breakdown. I was like, Mom, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't keep living like this. Like, there's something wrong with me. It literally felt like there was, like, a devil inside of me or something, and I really need help. And my mom, she drove those 15 hours. She dropped everything she was doing and drove 15 hours to come and get me. And I went into treatment after that at a residential place. What I learned when I went to treatment was your eating disorder acts as a coping mechanism for the pain that you hold inside. So all these factors that were happening to me, like my family life at home, my, like, toxic relationship, the loneliness I felt at school, my poor performance in running, I was taking it all out on my body. And that's how I dealt with the pain inside my head. I just transformed it to physical pain on my body. And when food has the power to do that to you, that's when you know that it's way more serious than just bad eating habits. The people that are afraid to seek treatment are usually afraid because of the fear of what people will think and how people will see them. And I mean, I was afraid of that too. I was afraid of being weak. I felt like I was giving up because I was going to treatment, but in reality it was the opposite. I was choosing to fight back. And I think people need to see that treatment isn't a form of weakness, and getting help doesn't mean that you're giving up on yourself or you're giving in. It's that you're choosing to fight back and you're choosing to get better. And I think more people need to understand that. When I got out of treatment, I was afraid of running because I knew running had such a detrimental and, like, a dangerous effect on me. And so, but I had always labeled myself as the runner girl, and everyone knew me as the runner girl. And now that I came out of treatment and I knew that running had almost put me there, I was like, what do I do? Who am I now? But through it all, I've definitely become more aware of myself, and that I'm more than just a runner girl. I'm more than my eating disorder. I'm more than who I thought of myself back then. And I wouldn't have been able to see that without all of this. I've come out stronger than I was before. And I mean, I used to hate myself. Now I don't hate myself. I'm still working on myself. I'm still working on loving myself, but I'm a lot closer than I was before. I am so excited to start running again for a team and start racing, because, like, running now isn't something that I do to lose weight. It's something I do because I love. And I'm so excited for the day to come that I can finally race and not worry about how I look in my uniform or anything else, just like go out and run. I'm glad that I'm here at Stockton now, and there's so much more opportunity to get help here, and people are definitely more accepting about mental health, and they're more open to talking about it than anywhere that I've ever been before, which is really, really nice. I think that anyone struggling with body image, whether you have an eating disorder or not, needs to realize that you are more than just a reflection in the mirror, that the mirror does not show all the lives that you've touched or the people that you've made smile. It doesn't show like all the battles that you've overcome. It just does not have the capacity to show any of that. And I think people just need to realize that they're more complex than a reflection, and they're more beautiful, and they need to understand that.